The Gryphonheart family is one of the most powerful and known families in the Might and Magic franchise, besides the Iron Fist and the Falcon from the Ashan timeline. So I decided to make a family tree for the Gryphonhearts. Note, there might be large gaps in the time in between, and I'll try to say when this have happened. But if you like lore videos and speedrun videos, then why not hit that subscribe button and click the bell in order to get notified when I upload a new video. So the first one in the Gryphonheart line is Rion Gryphonheart. Rion Gryphonheart founded the kingdom of Arathia after the fall of Bracadun. The establishment of the Arathian kingdom can be put in the time frame of 100 to 0 BS. But before the fall of Bracadun, he was a knight of the Bracadun Empire. And one of Rion's Gryphonheart's greatest achievement is taking out the barbarian king Tarnum. Rion Gryphonheart would eventually marry a unnamed woman that happens to be the sister of Tarnum. This unnamed woman would later give birth to his daughter, Ellison Gryphonheart. So this is the first part of the family tree. We have Rion Gryphonheart being the first Gryphonheart in the family. Then we have the sister of Tarnum marrying into the Gryphonheart family, so it makes it so that Tarnum is somewhat related to the Gryphonheart family. Next up is Allison Gryphonheart, which is the first descendant of the Gryphonheart family. You can also put in Allison's Gryphonheart's reign during that time period as well. Allison is never depicted having a romantic partner or any interest in romance, but since the family dynasty is still active, it means that she eventually married or had a child. Now we are making a jump for almost about 500 years into the next Gryphonheart in the line. And the next Gryphonheart is going to be the Mad King Gryphonheart. The Mad King has never been given an official name, so we are only going to be referring to him as the Mad King from this point. But for what we know about the Mad King is that he did have two children. He had Nivian and an unnamed son. We can put in the Mad King's reign from being around 400 AS to 499 AS. Nivian comes in next, as he is the successor to the throne of Arathia after the Mad King. We know that Nivian had a younger brother, and they grew up as enemies due to how their father said that they would inherit the throne. From what we know is that Nivian has never had a named romantic interest. But once again, due to the family line being active, it means that he managed to marry someone or had a child. Here's the second step of the family tree of the known and named Gryphonheart. And step 2 is being the Mad King Gryphonheart. Then we have the unnamed woman that eventually gives birth to Nivian and an unnamed brother. Next is David Gryphonheart, whose reign was during and before the Timber Wars. So we know a pretty pinpoint time for when he was the ruler of Arathia. Once again, this is a character that is not talked about that much and we don't know much about. The only thing that we know is that he was eager to expand the borders. And also, the Timber Wars started at 649 AS. Now we make another jump, a jump that is about 200 years into the next line of the Gryphonheart family, which is Aaron Gryphonheart. Aaron Gryphonheart was the ruler of Arathia in the early 800 AS. His rule was a fairly short one. After taking Harmondale back, he decided to declare war on the elves and died promptly 2 weeks after the war started. Now we have step 3, or generation 3 of the known Gryphonheart line, those being David and Aaron Gryphonheart. Now comes probably one of the biggest names in the Gryphonheart family, which is Nicholas Gryphonheart. And unlike a lot of the characters that we are forced into speculating, he has an exact date of his death and birth. Nicholas was born in either 1110 AS or 1111 AS, and inherited the throne of Arathia at a young age from his unnamed predecessor. Nicholas eventually would marry his lover, William, in 1133 AS, who would give birth to two daughters, the future Queen Catherine in 1134 and Beatrice in 1141 AS. Nicholas also had an affair with a woman by the name of Iduna, and the three sons would be Lysander, Warjack, and Guldof. His rule would eventually end at 1164 AS at the age of 54 or 53. Catherine Gryphonheart, firstborn of Nicholas, and became the Queen of Arathia after her father's death. She would marry into the Iron Fist family with Marion Roland Iron Fist. She would later give birth to a son and named him Nikolai, after her father. I also don't want to speak that much about Roland Iron Fist, since I think he has enough information to make a separate video about, but he married into the family in 1154 AS. And here we have the fourth generation of the Gryphonheart line, and the fourth is with Nicholas, William, Beatrice, Catherine, and then Roland Iron Fist, which technically he's not part of the family, but he married into fine. Now we have Nikolai Iron Fist, son of King Roland and Queen Catherine. Nikolai Iron Fist was the heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Enroth. Nikolai was born in the Kingdom of Enroth in August of 1155 AS. After the Reckoning, Nikolai just seems to try to build up an army to fight against the Kriegans. Nikolai seems to have not had a romantic interest at the moment. And here we have the last generation of Gryphonheart in terms of the royal throne, that being Nikolai Iron Fist. Now we're going to be talking about Lysander, who is the last of the line who decided to take on the name of Gryphonheart. Lysander is the son of Nikolai and Iduna. Even after participating in the foundation of Paldera, refused to be king, as he knew that only a Gryphonheart that wields the Gryphonheart sword should rule. Now, Warjack is an interesting case for being part of the Gryphonheart line, since he doesn't have any ties to the Gryphonheart affairs and is raised as a barbarian by Tarnum, and he also decides to unify the tribes of Exioth. Other than being the son of Nikolai and Iduna, he doesn't really have any stakes in the Gryphonheart family. Guldof definitely feels weird that he's like part of the Gryphonheart family, because the Gryphonheart line has never been really like one for necromancy and type. They've mainly been knights and soldiers, but Guldof take that out of the case, and he's just a full-blown necromancer that also has a balance act of wanting to balance life and death. But Guldof is the third son of Nicholas and Iduna, so he's part of the Gryphonheart line. Okay, so now it's time to actually go for some other characters that had claims of being part of the Gryphonheart family, and also the cousin of the Gryphonheart family. So let's talk about the case of Sepher Nimroth. Sepher Nimroth claims to be the legitimate child of King Gryphonheart, assumingly Nicholas Gryphonheart, and his refusal to acknowledge her has served to fuel her hatred against the throne of Arathia, which she one day hopes to claim to herself, having joined the ranks of the warlocks. But we are later discovered that Sephiroth's claim to the throne was just illegitimate. It was used as an extortion tactic, which backfired when the king refused to pay. Now we're talking about Sir Wharton, who is the son of Sir Kenetane and Lady Desetta. Wharton wanted the throne of Paldera so badly that he faked being part of the Gryphonheart line and spread this rumor so that he could be crowned king. But it was eventually discovered by Lysander that Wharton was not part of the Gryphonheart line by a oracle, and that is when Lysander realizes he's part of the Gryphonheart line, making Sir Wharton's claims of being part of the Gryphonheart lineage to be a flat-out lie and a power move to just grab the throne. Now we have come to the last relative to the Gryphonheart family, or people who have claimed to be a part of the Gryphonhearts, that being Daymark. Sir Daymark is the cousin of Lysander. Once again, we don't know much about this character because he's just mentioned as being the cousin of Lysander, but we can assume that Iduna had like a sister, or maybe a brother, or maybe something like that. We have come to the last part of the family tree now. So this is how the entire tree is gonna be looking like If you like the content, why not subscribe, leave a like, and comment, and all that. So, the thing is this, I made this video since I didn't have time to get done with my other video that I want to cover. And I can tell you straight up, the video is going to cover Tarnum, since he seems to just to reappear and disappear throughout the timeline of the ancient history, so I want to cover why that happens.